Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile ARCHNEMESIS League 3.17. In this episode, I'm going to be showing you guys why I switched to Bone Armor, how it's really cool, it costs no mana, has a really long duration, big uptime, immunity to bleeding, huge buff, really strong you should be using, and these are all the reasons. I'm going to compare them against all the guard skills. Enjoy the video. If you've ever used a guard skill, like the video. Let's get 69 likes in one day on this video. Thank you guys for all the support. Nice. And if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell to receive extra notifications. These are the main benefits of Bone Armor. The duration, the fact that it removes bleeding, you're immune to bleeding for the duration, the flat amount that it has in the buff, the mana cost, and then the cooldown. It has a lot of benefits, and I'll compare it against the other guard skills now. First, I want to clarify a couple things. The grants immunity to bleeding will not only stop you from being bled in the future, it removes bleeding for the duration. I thought that it would just be like a short temporary, but no, removing a bleed is kind of like the life flask with removed bleed. And then the main reason I can use this on my left click is because I don't have to run phase run because of our dash giving us permanent phasing with the amulet. We get phasing and we don't need the left click phase run, so then we can actually left click Bone Armor. Okay, and then this costing no mana. What? Casting damage taken things or even just regular guard skills are going to cost mana. This doesn't cost mana. And the fact that it's like a fully leveled up, I'll show you, steel skin goes up in the amount of that it can protect per level. And so you can see that it's 2403 at level 21, and this is 2209. But you'll see that it's very similar to steel skin. Same cooldown, 3 seconds. The duration is a half, though, on steel skin, 1.5 compared to 3. And so the way I like to think of it is it's 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down, so it's a 50% uptime. With this one, it's 1.5 seconds up, 3 seconds down, so it's a 33% uptime. The buff is also just as big as the level 20, basically, like you see, and the 70% of damage taken from hits before life or energy shield, that's pretty sick. And then it also grants immunity to bleeding. This also applies to your minions, though, which is really cool, really sick, really strong. And yeah, it doesn't cost mana, where steel skin does cost mana. You can't automate the Bone Armor with a caster damage taken, but wow, it has a lot of things going for it right now. And then the other thing in our build specifically is that Immortal Call, I was using it, and it's really great for the Volatile Flame Blood with the automation, but high mana cost, and it's less LE damage taken, which is similar to the LE Flask, where just running Bone Armor, having a 2200 shield is like 50% more life. So I actually think with my configuration, with my setup, the Bone Armor is actually stronger, and then it has a higher uptime. With the alt quality Anomalous, you obviously can get a pretty Anomalous Immortal Call. You can get a pretty long duration. It goes to why didn't it work? Does it have to be a link to this to get the extra? Oh, that's cooldown recovery rate. Yeah. So with that, I would get it to, where is it? 2 second cooldown with a 1 second uptime, and then I could get the uptime, the buff duration, up to 2 seconds with increased duration and this Anomalous Immortal Call, cast from damage take, I mean. So then it would be a 2 second cooldown, 2 second buff time, a 50% uptime. But this is just base Bone Armor, so it's obviously really strong. It's obviously really powerful. And I actually recommend, if you can left click Bone Armor, it's actually really strong. It competes against everything else, and then there's only one more I haven't compared it against. What's Molten Shell doing in our build? So it's a 3 second duration, 4 second cooldown. If you increase the cooldown, increase the duration, then it'll increase the cooldown too, so it's not like it changes this ratio. So it's not 50%, but it's pretty close, and then it's based on 20% of your armor. In my build, I have 32,000 armor, so this is a massive shield. This is like 6,000 shield. So it's obviously more than the 2,000 from the bone armor or the steel skin. But then the worse uptime. It does give you some armor, but then it costs mana, and you can't really automate it still. It doesn't work that well automated, so it's kind of similar to the bone armor. The bone armor also provides the bleed immunity, and it provides it to your minions too, and we get bone armor for free in the build with bone barrier. We didn't even have to put a skill in the build, so we actually save a gem slot. Overall, this whole video is telling you how bone armor seems pretty fucking bonkers, and the only downside, which has literally been the main reason why I haven't even touched this thing, is because you can't automate it. But if you left click bone armor, it is automated while you're playing. I don't like do anything, and it's just being activated. And with our current setup, we don't rely on a guard skill. I could run no guard skill and we'd be fine. And so this is just then an extra layer of defense instead of relying on it, where I think with Molten Shell we have relied on it in the past, which isn't ideal. We shouldn't try to rely on a guard skill. It should be a bonus extra layer of defense, especially in this case, an extra layer of removal. Removing bleed every 3 seconds consistently without flash charges is so broken. This is better than a bleed flask, because it'll guaranteed happen every 3 seconds, where you can actually run out of flash charges and you don't have your bleed flask. This is so strong. You don't have to worry about bleed anymore. Well, you do. You can still die in 3 seconds of a bleed, but I mean, we're softcore and it's fine. And it's not like... It's pretty similar to these. Steel skin don't have to have a level 20 steel skin. That would have to have a high level casualty damage taken, which would make you take a high amount of damage, which you would never do this. It would be low level immortal call, or you cast the molten shell. Steel skin, pretty expensive. I guess it's in a build where you have low life and that amount of buff is huge, and you want the bleed immune, and it's kind of like doing this setup, but you don't have the bone armor option in your ascendancy. So I'm glad to have figured this out, put it in this way, and I think people who now try out bone armor with everything that we've said of how it actually is competitive, it actually is good, if you don't worry about the automation, if you can build your build stronger because of the freed up gem slots. Also, there's a major, this is one of the biggest selling points. It costing no mana, you will realize, is massive, because we used to do a cast and damage taken immortal call, and this would be 65 mana, and then I actually added an increased duration, which made it like 90 something mana, and then I also had to still cast my other stuff, so I had to have 100 and something mana left over, and in my current build I only have 65, and the only things that cost mana are an assassin's mark that I only cast once because it's permanent on a boss, and dash, and the dash is 18 mana, and the dash has a cooldown of 2 seconds, so it's literally impossible. I cannot use my mana. I could actually reserve even more. I could go down to like the combo of this 53 or something like that. We're pretty close to what that is, so this is fine. And it's crazy to be able to reserve extra and to take out extra reservation to make the build min-max more efficient, because I think like aura stacking isn't as insane as it was. Its gem slots are costly. Then we were able to get the extra stone golem. We got the big fat regen. It's disgusting. Really like it. This bone armor left click was a huge improvement for the build, and I think it could help a lot of people following our builds too. I think this could be used in more necromancer summoner builds on top of it when we're not left click phase running, and I probably will be using this more in the future. So yeah, you probably should be too. Bone armor, actually good. I now highly recommend bone armor, boys. Yep. I did, dude, the thing about it completely removing the bleed and making you immune to bleeding for 3 seconds, that's insane. That, and then the mana, and the fact that it's as strong as a steel skin, and it's probably better than my immortal call when you activate it, and it's obviously less good than the molten shell, but it was free. We already had it. We should have been using it. Damn. Either way, thank you guys for watching. So yeah, bone armor's pretty cool. Highly recommend it. It's actually pretty good. If you can left click it instead of phase run and you have other options of phasing, this is really strong. Then you get to remove a guard skill, you save extra gem slots, you save extra mana, you get to reserve more, your build gets better. Bone armor is the new meta, boys. Why has no one ever explained it like this in the past? Thank you guys for watching, and if you guys did enjoy the video, let's get that 69 likes in one day on this video. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!